Hello, Virgo rising. Welcome to your April 2023 astrological quickie forecast. I'm going to talk about 4 or 5 different things, do a real quick here, try to keep it, congeal it, put it together for you the way you like it with some details. The way my Virgo energy likes the details. Listen, we start off on April 3rd here with the planet Mercury, the planet that rules Virgos, entering the Earth sign of Taurus. This is a good thing for you, actually, in the long term. You might not think about it in the middle part of the movement of Mercury, but in general, any planet that goes into an Earth sign is going to vibe with Virgo, with the other Earth sign. So on April 3rd, Mercury moves into the sign of Taurus. It's going to slow down its thought processes. It's going to think things out at a different pace than it was in the sign of Aries, fire and rapidness. Here, Mercury slows down a little bit. And it's really going to slow down in one way towards the end of the month, and I'll get to that. I just want to say that this transit of Mercury in Taurus is going to be in the place in your chart that deals with truth, how you philosophize, what your spiritual connection is from what your beliefs are, all those things of how we seek truth and incorporate it into our beliefs is where Mercury will be here actually for a while, for April all the way into May for you. When we get to the 5th, there's a major full moon that's going to happen in the sign of Libra. This full moon exposes the light and the shadows in your money house, in the place that deals with resources and money, how you deal with them, your finances, how you spend money, how you deal with money, how you bring in resources, so on and so forth. This is a major full moon that happens. It's not just happening there, though, because on the opposite side of the chart of the money house, we deal with other people's resources, and we deal with more secretive things and issues that deal with intimacy. Sometimes on the technical ways, it's the death and taxes and inheritance type of place. But what we're dealing with is other people's resources and our depth study and our inquiry into deeper occulty type of things. I know it sounds weird. Just know this. Resources are huge this month for you, and there will be the theme of those with a couple other dates here in the month. But this full moon is big in your money house, and also there's a possible storyline that's going on with how you deal with other people's resources, how you're connected to other people's resources, how you're connected intimately with other people and their resources. So there's a possible exposing of a wound there, and we want to branch these things together. We want to branch the other people's resources and the deeper, more secretive, intimate things with your actual money house and money resources and what they mean to each other. They're not separate. And this full moon is going to bring that theme up. When we get to the 10th of April, where the planet Venus is going to leave the sign of Taurus, where it loves to be and where it's been in pleasure zone, and go into the mind power place of Gemini, which I think you have a connection to because it's the other sign that is also ruled by Mercury. And so this place in general, kind of like in your case, we're dealing with the career part of your chart, and we're dealing with your public place and how you show yourself publicly, how you're elevated publicly. And here, Venus is going to, in its own way in Gemini, bestow its blessings upon you. And so I think you will be seen publicly. And if there's any move that you need to make career-wise, or there's a relationship or relationships that you have in the career sector, or how you deal with your public status, they're going to be first and foremost on the table. And so I want you to look at different ways you can use this. I think because you're a mutable sign, Virgo and Virgo risings, you're used to a Mercury ruled sign like Gemini, which is also mutable. And so there's different ways and different details for you to find and to put together in a concise way, in a detailed way, that you can then show and use and intertwine in your public and career place of your chart. So when we get to the 19th of April, we have another huge lunation. And this time it's a new moon in Aries, but it's a solar eclipse. And here, it comes back to the place I was talking about when the full moon happened. And it's that place, in astrology, we call it the 8th house. So it's, again, tied in other people's resources. But I think here, on a deeper level, we're dealing with, in a sense, an exposing of a past wound or two, or something of a wound that needs to be that you found a piece in this area of your chart that deals with other people's resources. It could be the past. It could be inheritances and wills and things that come along that are attached to even like death processes. There's legality sometimes involved in here. On a more spiritual tip, it's a place where we go in deep and probe mysteries like of the occult, of astrology, of tarot cards, of whatever modality that you're using. There is something here that is exposed and shown with the eclipse. And it's a set off an interesting story for you here that I think is going to be around for the next year and a half, and your connection to these places and to other people's resources. So you have two interesting dates here in the month of April that touch upon resources and your connection to them. And I want you to pay close attention here, like you usually do, my Virgo friend, because you're paying attention to the little things and to the details. At the same time, I don't want you to be afraid of going deep. Okay, I want you to go deep, and I want you to do it in an open way, where in a sense that you're taking a risk to show your vulnerability in these places. But it doesn't have to mean that it's bad. It means that by going deep and going in and going to these places, you can find those little details that you so like that then you can incorporate, and it will reveal itself and show itself down the line with how you connect with resources in your life. So there's that. When we get to April 20th, the Taurus birthday starts, and then the next day, this is important because it goes back to the beginning of this video. The next day on April 21st, that planet Mercury that rules you, the planet that deals with communication, how things get from point A to point B, how things fire off in your brain, how you take those things in your brain and put it together and communicate in all its different forms, how something moves. That planet, which you're ruled by, is going to go retrograde in the sign of Taurus. It does it for 3 weeks. It'll stop going retrograde on May 15th. Now, remember, we started off the video here about truth and philosophy and your belief system. And here, with the retrograde happening, you're going to review this place and your sense of like, not only how you communicate, but what you communicate and what your truth is and how you value your truth and how you value other people's truth, other people's cultures and truths. There's different ways of doing this. We take classes, we go to school, we look higher learning, we find a mentor. Some of us travel to unknown places to acquire truth, other people's truth. There's the debate of truth, which is so prevalent these days because of the internet, but there's a slowing down process that happens here. So you're going to have a reevaluation process, and eventually some details are going to be out of sorts in your mind with this and how you communicate. And the thing to remember with retrogrades, it's a reclaiming and review process. It's a good thing in the end. That doesn't necessarily all messed up, but it's a thing of like in Taurus, you have to take your time and be more patient than ever when it comes to your mind. Well, I hope you dug some of this. I'm being straight up. If you don't know who I am, I'm Nicolas Polymonakos, aka Sparkles of Gold. If you like this, hit the subscribe button, share it, make a comment. You can go to my website, sparklesofgold.com. You can find me on Instagram. Go check out my live stream videos. Whatever the case is, keep it together this month, my Virgo friend, and I'll see you on the next video.